Right now, you are a senior director, a vice president, or a seasoned C-suite executive. You have spent the last 20 years of your life building a massive intellectual capital. You have managed complex multi-million dollar profit and loss statements. You have guided apex corporate entities through brutal macroeconomics contraction, executed aggressive mergers and acquisition, and led thousands of human beings. Yet, when it comes time for you to transition to your next major leadership role, something embarrassing happens. You sit down at your laptop and you are forced to operate exactly like a 22 years old entry-level intern. You spend 3 hours manually tweaking your resume bullet points. You draft generic, uninspired cover letters. You copy and paste your 2 decades of nuanced, high-stakes leadership history into broken, restrictive applicant tracking system. You are a master of corporate strategy, but you are executing your own career transition like an amateur. You are fundamentally mispricing your own time, and you are allowing the administrative friction of the job market to dilute your executive presence. The modern labor market is no longer just a network of recruiters, it is a highly calibrated, algorithmic supply chain. If you are executing repeatable manual workflows to find your next executive role, you are competing against machines and you are going to lose. You must stop acting like a desperate applicant and start operating as an enterprise of one. To do this, you must command the algorithms. Specifically, you must leverage AI, not just as a passive chatbot, but as an automated, highly specific execution engine. Anthropic have released a paradigm-shifting framework called Skills, designed to teach Claude how to handle specific tasks or workflows. Today, we are completely redesigning your executive job search. I'm going to translate a highly technical AI engineering manual into an uncompromising, plain English blueprint for senior professionals. I will show you exactly how to build a proprietary executive job search skill so that Claude autonomously tailors your applications, conduct your market research, and preps you for a high-stakes board interview. Grab a notebook. It is time to clear the administrative floor of your career transition and start architecturing your ceiling. Welcome back. I'm Dr. HR. To understand why my approach to the executive job search is so aggressively different from traditional career coaches, you must understand my underlying architecture. I look at the global labor market not with the emotional advice, but as a structural, algorithmic systems. My foundation is deeply rooted in systems architecture. I hold a bachelor's degree in engineering, specifically computer science. I paired that aggressively analytical, algorithmic mindset with a master's in human resource from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences TISS in Mumbai, and eventually I earned my PhD in HR. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010 and having consulted for over 20 apex corporate entities across the Middle East, I know exactly how institutional algorithms calculate value and how executive selection committee actually make decisions. My background in computer science means I understand how the AI code work, and my PhD in HR means I know exactly how to deploy that code to extract maximum leverage from the labor market. Let us break down exactly what a Claude skill is, why your current AI strategy is failing, and how we are going to build your digital chief of staff. Phase 1. The AI amnesia problem. For the last year, you have probably been using AI to help with your job search, but you have been using it entirely wrong. You open a new chat window, you paste in a target job description, you paste in your current resume, and you write a generic prompt. Please tailor my resume for this job. The output you get back is almost always terrible. It is generic, it hallucinates metrics, it completely strips your unique executive voice, replacing it with robotic corporate jargon. Why does this happen? Because the traditional AI chatting is stateless. It suffers from permanent amnesia. Every time you open a new window, the AI forgets who you are, what your leadership philosophy is, and the exact nuances of your 20 years career. You are forcing the machine to guess your value. Instead of re-explaining your preferences, your specific career processes, and your deep domain expertise in every single conversation, Claude skills allow you to teach the AI once and benefit every time. Skills are incredibly powerful when you have repeatable workflows. And make no mistake, the executive job search is the ultimate repeatable workflow. Analyze the target company, compare the job description to your master career history, identify the strategic gap, generate a tailored asset, prepare for the interview. We are going to hard code this workflow into your machine. Phase 2. Building your digital chief of staff. What exactly is a skill? Do you need to be a software developer to build one? Absolutely not. A skill is simply a folder on your computer. That is it. It is a directory containing specific text files that act as a brain and the memory for your AI. To build your digital chief of staff, you will create a folder on your desktop. Inside this folder, you will utilize a brilliant architectural concept called progressive disclosure. If you paste a 20-page career history into a standard AI prompt, every time you apply for a job, the AI loses focus. It gets overwhelmed by the sheer volume of data and misses the nuances of the specific job description you are targeting. Progressive disclosure solves this by using a 3-level system. 1. The first level, the trigger. A tiny block of text that is always loaded in the Claude's system prompt, providing just enough information for Claude to know exactly when your job search skills should be used without loading all of your history into its immediate memory. 2. The second level, the instruction. Loaded only when Claude determines your skill is relevant to the current task. This contains the full uncompromising instruction and guidance on how to write your resume. 3. The third level, the vault. These are the additional files bundled within the skill directory that Claude can choose to navigate and discover only as needed. For your third skill, you will create a folder inside your skill called references /. This is your vault. I want you to sit down for a weekend and write a massive 15-page master career history document. Do not worry about formatting. Write down every P&L you managed, every M&A deal you structured, every team you scaled, and every crisis you averted. Put that document in the reference folder. Because of the progressive disclosure, Claude will only dip into that massive 15-page document to pull the specific data from your 2018 restructuring project if the 2026 job description explicitly requires that exact type of experience. It minimizes the data bloat while maintaining your specialized expertise. Phase 3. The brain, the YAML Frontmatter. Now we must build the actual brain of the skill. This requires strict adherence to technical rules. The system is unforgiving regarding nomenclature. Inside your skill folder, you must create a file named exactly skill.md. It must be case sensitive. No variation like skill.md or small skill.md are accepted. Your skill folder itself must use kebab case, such an executive job search. No spaces, no underscore, and no capitals are permitted. At the top of your skill.md document, you must write the YAML formatter. This is the first level of progressive disclosure. It is a trigger. You must include the name matching the folder name. You must also include a description that is 1024 character. This description must include both what the skill does and when to use it, including specific trigger phases. You must never use XML angle brackets like the small sign to the greater sign in this Frontmatter, as this is a strict security restriction. Here is the exact copy-pastable template for your executive job search trigger, and you will find this in our description below. Use when the user pastes a job description, uploads a... So once you read the description, notice how specific and actionable that description is. It clearly defines the exact phrases that will wake the machine up. If your description is too vague, like help with my job search, the skill will fail to trigger. Phase 4. The 4-step execution workflow. Directly beneath the YAML block in your skill.md file, you write the actual instruction. This is where you embed your structural leverage. You must be specific, authoritative, and actionable. You are commanding the AI to act not as a subservient chatbot, but as a ruthless, highly compensated executive search consultant. You will hard-code a multi-step sequential workflow orchestration. Here is exactly how you architect the instruction. Step 1. Job description deconstruction. You instruct Claude when the user provides a job description, do not immediately write a resume. First, deeply analyze the text. Identify the top 3 structural business problems the target company is trying to solve. such as revenue leakage, operational scaling, or market expansion. Identify the explicit technical requirements and the implicit political requirement. Step 2. Asset retrieval and gap analysis. You instruct Claude. Before writing, consult reference master-careerhistory.md. Cross-reference the business problem identified in Step 1 with the user's historical achievement. Select only the top 4 most financially impactful relevant achievement. Discard all routine administrative duties. Step 4. Interview architecture. You instruct Claude, generate a strategic interview prep document. Provide 3 highly aggressive 0 to 1 questions that users should ask the hiring manager or board to establish absolute authority in the interview. By structuring your skill.md this way, you force the AI to follow a rigorous workflow that guarantees a deeply analytical, highly strategic output every single time. Phase 5. The refinement loop. A massive mistake senior professionals make is accepting the very first draft an AI produces. High-level executive grade output requires iteration. You must hard-code the iterative refinement patterns into your skill.md. Use this pattern when output quality improves with iteration. If your instruction, you build a refinement loop. 1. Initial draft. Claude generates the first draft of the tailored resume. 2. Quality check. Claude is instructed to run a self-validation check. You explicitly command it to look for a specific failures, missing financial metric. The use of weak passive voices verb like helped with or was responsible for and formatting inconsistencies. 3. Refinement. Claude must address each identified issues, regenerate the affected sections, and repeat the process until the quality threshold is met. This guarantees that the final document Claude handles you is polished, aggressive, and completely ready for executive deployment. Phase 6. The kitchen analogy and MCP. If you want to move from an advanced user to an apex operator, you must understand how skills interact with MCP, the Model Context Protocol. Anthropic uses a brilliant kitchen analogy to explain this. MCP provides the professional kitchen. It gives Claude access to the tools, the ingredient, and the equipment. Skills provide the recipes. They are the step-by-step instruction on how to create something valuable using those tools. Without skills, you might connect Claude to your Google Drive or a web fetching tool via MCP, but Claude doesn't actually know what to do next. Each conversation starts from scratch. With skills, pre-built workflows activate automatically when needed. Imagine deploying the multi-MCP coordination workflows for your job search. Your skill could instruct Claude to first use a web fetch MCP to pull the last 3 quarterly earnings transcript of your target company. Then it analyzes those transcripts to find the CEO's current strategic anxieties. Finally, it accesses your Google Drive MCP to read your master resume and generate a bespoke pain letter, a highly targeted executive cover letter that pitches your specific career history directly as a solution to the CEO's stated financial anxieties. This is how you orchestrate an AI-powered job search. Page 7. Testing and the skill creator. You do not build this machine and blindly trust it. You must test it with the same rigor you would test a financial model before presenting it to a board. Effective skill testing requires evaluating trigger tests to ensure your skill load at the highest time, your skill load at the right times, the functional test to verify it produces correct output. Test it by feeding it a complex VP of operations job description. Does it actually extract your correct metric? If it fails to trigger, you have untriggering, and you must add more specific keywords to your Frontmatter description. If it triggers when you ask a random question, you have over-triggering, and you must add negative triggers such as explicitly stating do not use for general writing tasks. If you feel overwhelmed by the markdown syntax and you do not have to build the folder manually from scratch, Anthropic provides a built-in skill creator tool. You simply open Claude and say, use the skill creator skill to help me build a skill for automating my executive job search. The skill creator will literally walk you through the use case definition, generate the Frontmatter, write the instructions, and suggest triggers phrases. You can build and test a functional skill in a single setting. often in 15 to 30 minutes. Look at the board clearly. When you successfully deploy this architectural skill, something profound happens to your daily routine. You will no longer spend 4 hours a day formatting bullet points or trying to force your massive, complex career history to fit onto 2 pages. The skill absorbs the repetitive, administrative load. This frees up your most valuable asset, your cognitive bandwidth. It frees up your time for the judgment, the exceptions, and high-level advisory work that actually requires a human expert. In the context of an executive job search, this means you take the hours you recovered from manual formatting and you invest them entirely into relationships, judgment, and genuine business understanding. You stop applying through online portals and you take leveraging your network. You take the highly tailored, aggressive documents Claude generated and you email them directly to the CEO or the board of directors of your target company. You use your newly freed time to research the hidden market dynamics of the industry so that when you sit in an interview chair, you speak like a structural equal, not an applicant. AI raises the administrative floor for everyone. Every junior candidate on the market is going to use the basic AI to write a medical resume. But AI does not raise the ceiling for anyone. The senior professionals who win this decade using AI skills to ruthlessly clear the floor, the admin, the routine, and invest every single recovered hours into building the ceiling. Stop being a biological router. Stop executing manual workflows. Build your digital chief of staff, protect your heuristics, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.